96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. The government says it did not violate the procurement laws with the BPL reform. The opposition leader questioning whether BPL is indeed in the midst of privatization. And nearly 500 shanties torn down since the start of the year. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning. It is Friday, June 14th, 2024. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. Also this morning, a lot coming up. We are going to be talking with the Bahamas AIDS Foundation about their raffle coming up this weekend. And we have March On, The Story of Us. It's back for another encore. And we're going to get all the details about what to expect this weekend. And then later in business, we're talking with IRCA about BPL and more. You don't want to miss that in our 9 o'clock hour. That's all ahead, but first it's time for the overnight, the latest breaking news from while you were sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, police investigating the country's latest murder. A woman shot and killed on Cowpen Road, just east of Faith Avenue. Expecting more details on this throughout the morning, so stay tuned to the Guardian News Network for the very latest on this story. In other news, the Davis administration did not violate any procurement policy or law at any stage during its energy reform process. That's according to Transport and Energy Minister JoBeth Colby Davis. During her 2024-2025 budget debate in the House of Assembly Wednesday, Colby Davis gave more details about the government's plans for the energy sector. One element involves the implementation of LNG on New Providence via partner with partner. She said BPL applied to IRCA to get permission for the use of single-source procurement for the purchase of generation by way of a power purchase agreement and the use of LNG. There was no competitive bidding process, something F&M leader Michael Pintard has criticized. The minister said IRCA did not object to the proposed single-source procurement per condition of the procurement regulations for the electricity sector. F&M has repeatedly accused the Davis administration of violating the Public Procurement Act by failing to go to tender and failing to publish summary details of contracts awarded by all government agencies and state-owned enterprises. When he spoke in Parliament yesterday, Pintard said that the absence of transparent competitive bidding for the LNG contract and for the contract between the government and Pike Corporation via its Bahamian management company Island Grid Solutions is concerning. Well, the opposition leader also saying that it's clear from the information provided by the government that BPL is in the midst of being privatized. During that debate yesterday, Pintard said, quote, BPL, by whatever name you wish to call it, is in the midst of a privatization exercise. The government has sought to slip into the budget debate a privatization process under some other name. He cited the Prime Minister saying back in March that in no way, shape, or fashion that BPL would be privatized as part of their reform. But Pintard said, quote, lo and behold, some 3 months later, the press first reported and then the Minister of Energy confirmed that $100 million worth of sovereign assets are being transferred for a quarter century or longer for state control and ownership to private control and majority ownership. Pintard saying that selling the state-owned transmission and distribution network for a minority stake in a business that will be majority-owned and controlled by the private sector is absolutely privatization. He says it will continue to be a privatization until it is returned to majority ownership and control of the state. He said, quote, the Bahamian people can decide for themselves if the Prime Minister and his team are being completely honest and open when they make the claim that BPL is not being privatized. Works and Family Island Affairs Minister Clay Sweeting says nearly 500 illegal structures in shanty towns across the country have been demolished since the start of the year. Sweeting says hundreds more are set for demolition by the Unregulated Communities Action Task Force. The already demolished structures include 156 in New Providence, 148 in Abaco, and 184 on Eleuthera. Sweeting also outlining plans to construct or repair bridges and docks on a number of family islands. Sweeting says the long-awaited construction of the new glass window bridge in North Eleuthera is one of those key projects, noting that there is an opportunity to use the United Kingdom Export Finance credit support to finance the new structure. He said an $800,000 contract has been awarded to SJK Engineering and Construction for the construction of a new public bridge in Staniel Key, Exuma, which is expected to begin next month and to be completed around the end of the year. He also said there are plans in place for the reconstruction of the Davy Creek Bridge in North Andros, the Ferry Bridge, which connects Great Exuma and Little Exuma, the Baratari Bridge in Exuma, and the Stafford Creek and Fresh Creek bridges in North Andros. The Court of Appeal upholding a 4-year sentence given to a man who armed himself after he was threatened. Marvin Maw sought to have the sentence reduced on the grounds that it was unduly harsh, given that he had no previous convictions and pleaded guilty at the first opportunity. However, in seeking to demonstrate that the sentences were unduly harsh, attorney Mario Gray relied on newspaper reports where convicts had received less time for gun convictions following a full trial. In dismissing his appeal against sentence, the Court of Appeal noted that convicts with similar circumstances as Moss had been sentenced to 4 years. The court noted that Moss could have received a stiffer sentence. Overseas, Russian President Vladimir Putin promising today to immediately order a ceasefire in Ukraine and begin negotiations if Kyiv starts withdrawing troops from the 4 occupied Ukrainian regions and renounced plans to join NATO. Such a deal appears a non-starter for Kyiv, which wants to join the military alliance and has demanded that Russia withdraw its troops from all of its territory. The speech at the Russian Foreign Ministry in Moscow, quote, "We will do it immediately." His remarks come as leaders of the Group of 7 leading industrialized nations are meeting in Italy and at Switzerland, prepared to host scores of world leaders, but not from Moscow, this weekend to try to map out first steps towards peace in Ukraine. Pope Francis, no stranger to artificial intelligence, a deep-fake photo of him in a white puffer jacket went viral last year, but his concerns about AI go far beyond an unflattering shot and are now taking center stage at the Group of 7 summit. Francis will address G7 leaders today at their annual gathering in southern Italy, a first for a pope. He intends to use the occasion to join the chorus of countries and global bodies pushing for stronger guardrails on AI, following the boom in generative artificial intelligence kickstarted by OpenAI's ChatGPT chatbox. The Argentine Pope used his annual peace message this year to call for an international treaty to ensure AI is developed and used ethically. He argues that a technology lacking human values of compassion, mercy, morality, and forgiveness is too perilous to develop unchecked. Italian Premier Giorgia Meloni invited Francis and announced his participation, knowing the full potential impact of his star power and moral authority to twin a broadly shared concern about AI and his priorities about peace and social justice. In sports, the Bahamas Davis Cup team set to compete in Paraguay from June 17th to June 22nd. Led by Davis Cup captain Ricardo Demerit, the team includes talented players Michael Major Jr., Dante Armbrister, and Denali Nottage. They'll join forces with the Bahamas' number one player Justin Roberts and Grand Bahama native Rodney Carey to form the team. The upcoming tournament, Davis Cup for America's Group 3, will have 9 teams vying for regional glory. Alongside the Bahamas will be Bermuda, the Dominican Republic, Venezuela, Guatemala, Puerto Rico, Costa Rica, Jamaica, and host nation Paraguay. They'll battle it out on clay courts in what should be exciting matches and thrilling competition for tennis enthusiasts, with 3 teams set to be promoted to the America's Group 2 for 2025, and with 2 teams facing relegation. The stakes are high for all participants and nations. And the Bahamas losing a ray of sunshine. Renee "Sunshine" Davis, one of the most jovial, spirited, and fun-loving characters in the softball community, has passed away after spending a little over 2 weeks at Princess Margaret Hospital. Davis, a utility player for many years with the Wildcats Club and New Providence Softball Association, also played with the Finance Health Invaders in the Bahamas Government Departmental Softball Association. Well-loved. She came to contact with everyone she came into contact with. She will be missed. Renee "Sunshine" Davis was 56. And it appears the NHL may follow the NBA into a complete sweep in their respective finals. The road to the Stanley Cup last night, seeing the Florida Panthers take a 3-0 lead in the best-of-7 series against the Edmonton Oilers right there in Canada. The Panthers beating the Oilers 4-3. Now only 1 win away from the Stanley Cup title. With the NBA, will Boston clinch it tonight? We'll see. And we'll keep you posted. That's sports. And that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. Your first look at weather brought to you by GeoPierre's March On, the story of us backed by popular demand. Here's what's happening. A lot going on. We've got an elongated tropical disturbance moving along the U.S. to eastern seaboard and a potent mid to upper level trough stretching across the Gulf of Mexico with funnel deep tropical moisture dragging a trailing trough across the northern extend to this area. So the systems will produce bouts of severe weather, which we've been seeing, heavy rainfall over the northwest and even portions of the central Bahamas that will continue through tonight. Deep layered ridging will continue to buffer the remainder of the islands, allowing for a drier weather pattern to develop throughout the day. But for the northwest Bahamas, we still have a flood watch in effect for Grand Bahama, Abaco, and Bimini. That will continue until this afternoon. Flood risks are also elevated for the rest of the northwest Bahamas due to the prolonged and locally torrential low-lying and flood-prone areas, as well as in areas already inundated with water. For the northwest Bahamas, there is the potential for severe weather heading into the weekend. Everybody's being advised to remain alert and follow the Department of Meteorology's weather alerts and issuances for the next few days. Beachgoers in the northern and southeast Bahamas should be alert for moderate risk of rip currents affecting eastern and southern shorelines. So for today, for the northern Bahamas, this is the extreme northern Bahamas and the rest of the northwest Bahamas, we're looking at cloudy to overcast conditions, warm and locally breezy with scattered showers to widespread showers and thunderstorms. Showers, again, will be locally heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe. Small craft cautions in effect for the northern Bahamas. Expect gusty winds and higher seas in or near heavy showers and thunderstorms. Wind south to southwest at 15 to 20 knots today, becoming southwest to west at 15 knots, but gusty at times tonight. Southeast to south at 10 to 15 knots, but gusty at times today, falling to variable at 10 knots or less by nightfall for the rest of the northwest Bahamas, excluding the extreme northern islands. Seas 4 to 6 feet, but for the northwest, the extreme northern islands, but 2 to 4 feet elsewhere. Expect higher seas and gusty conditions. For the central and southeast Bahamas, partly sunny, very warm and a bit breezy with a few isolated showers, turning mostly fair and warm with offshore showers tonight. Expect increased cloudiness with heavier showers and possible thunderstorms affecting mainly the Exumas and Cat Island throughout the day. Gusty winds and higher seas in or near heavy showers and thunderstorms. Winds east to southeast at 15 knots overnight, reduced to 10 to 15 knots, but gusty at times by the afternoon. Seas 3 to 5 feet, with seas 1 to 3 feet in sheltered areas and over the banks. We're looking at highs getting up to around only about 84 Fahrenheit, 29 Celsius. That's how rainy it's going to be, folks. Overnight lows tonight getting down about 77 Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook and look at the tropics coming up after traffic in just a bit. Your first look at weather brought to you by Gia Pierre's March On, the story of us, backed by popular demand, June 15th and 16th at the Atlantis Theater, Coral Towers, for the fourth and final time. Tickets available at Gorgeous Essentials Marathon Mall. The show being called a must-see, and I can vouch for that. Again, tickets available at Gorgeous Essentials or online. Find them on Facebook. Saturday at 8 p.m. and Sunday at 4 p.m. and 8 p.m.
Wake up, it's a new day.
We're going to take a break, but when we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. You're a home for fresh news and smart talk all day.
Start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way? Wake up.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way they want you to? Your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Looking to elevate your gadget game, or a tech trouble simply slowing you down? Escape to a world of innovation at Custom Computers, your go-to store for the latest cutting-edge tech. Whether you need to upgrade your life with the best from Apple and Windows, or your device needs a little TLC, the Custom Computers Know-How Store is the destination for unbeatable expertise and quality repairs. With 2 convenient locations, there's a Custom Computers near you on Patton Street in Palmdale and Cades Village, or call 396-1100.
You try to rest, roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and binders, magazines and flyers. For window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it, just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Simplified lending's how to ease your way. Writing your tomorrow, starting today. Call Simplified Lending for simplified living. Tuition, vacation, or a home redo. Simplified Lending's here for you. Simplified Lending for simplified living. Simplified Lending for simplified living.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 4224796. Standard text rate supply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. We've got a lot coming up this morning. We're going to be talking with the Bahamas AIDS Foundation. They've got a raffle this weekend. Lots of really great prizes. They're going to tell us all about that. Then later, we're going to be talking with Gia Pierre's March On, The Story of Us. It is back, as you heard, for the 4th time. And if you've missed it, you really do need to check it out this weekend. They'll tell us why in our 8 o'clock hour. And then later, our 9 o'clock business hour, we're talking with Urka about BPL. And so much to talk about there. I don't know how much they can talk about, but we'll see. That's coming up around 9 o'clock hour. So a lot to get to on this Friday, but let's begin with what else is in the news. And in the news, more on BPL coming out of the House of Assembly. Michael Pintard, opposition leader, speaking about this, saying no matter what they want to say, no matter what they call it, it's privatization. This is what the government is doing essentially, with BPL. So says Pindar. A lot of you were saying that yesterday as well. This is what our Travis Cartwright Carroll is writing about in today's Nassau Guardian. Opposition leader Michael Pintard said yesterday it is clear from the information provided by the government that Bahamas Power and Light is in the midst of being privatized. Pintard said during the 2024-25 budget debate in the House yesterday, quote, BPL, by whatever name you wish to call it, is in the midst of a privatization exercise. The government has sought to slip into the budget debate a privatization process under some other name. In March of this year, the Prime Minister promised the country that in no way or fashion would BPL be privatized as part of their reform. Lo and behold, some 3 months later, the press first reported, and then the Minister of Energy confirmed that $100 million worth of sovereign assets are being transferred for a quarter century or longer from state control and ownership to private control and majority ownership. Pintard saying as well that, quote, selling the state-owned transmission and distribution network for a minority stake in a business that will be majority-owned and controlled by the private sector absolutely is privatization. It will continue to be a privatization until it is returned to majority ownership and control of the state. So let's get that out of the way. At least $100 million worth of BPL assets has been privatized. The Bahamian people can decide for themselves if the Prime Minister and his team are being completely honest and open when they make the claim that BPL is not being privatized. Well, earlier in the year, amid rumors of the government's deal regarding BPL, Prime Minister Davis, as you heard, said the government does not plan to privatize BPL. Energy Minister JoBeth Colby Davis reiterated that point on Wednesday. She noted that the term of the contract with Island Grid is 25 years, with the option for the government to renew it for an additional 10 years. Colby Davis said the government did not violate any procurement policy or law at any stage during its energy reform, as many have criticized, as they did go through IRCA. But Pintard said he was concerned that there was no transparent or competitive bidding in the process with Island Grid. He said, quote, the government is about to enter into a 25-year obligation involving hundreds of millions of dollars of state assets on a critical element of our public infrastructure. The enormity of the undertaking and the need to do it as effectively and as cost-efficiently as possible should have moved the government, absent even of the legal requirement to do so, to ensure that this initiative be subject to an open and transparent competitive bidding process. That way, the Bahamian people could be assured that we are getting the best deal available with the best possible technical providers. Without a competitive bidding process, none of us can have that assurance. This is why we have a law in place to make sure that to the extent possible, Bahamians get the best possible deal always. He said the only other point that he wanted to make was that we all vividly remember that there was a time when the PLP maintained that all state assets must remain in the control of the state and that any joint venture efforts should see the government maintain majority control. We remember how the PLP sought to get back a majority or equal stake in BTC. So strong were their convictions at the time. That PLP is no more. Very interesting words from Michael Pintard. Let's get your reaction to it. Of course, many were saying the same things yesterday, all week, as more details trickled in about this BPL deal. But what say you on this? Let's hear from you. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. And as you heard, JoBeth Colby Davis saying that they didn't violate any procurement law, that they went to IRCA, they applied to IRCA to get permission for the use of a single source procurement for the purchase of generation by way of a power purchase agreement and the use of LNG. This is about the LNG side of it. And that there were, even though there was no competitive bidding process, the minister said that IRCA did not object to the proposed single-source procurement per condition Section 9.5 of the Procurement Regulations for the Electricity Sector Licensees 2020. She said, quote, ERCA recognized that BPL's proposal had been vetted by the internationally recognized consulting firm McKinsey & Company, and that the use of LNG would reduce the environmental impact, provide higher reliability, and reduce cost to consumers. I hope this satisfies the members opposite and the critics who continue to state that we are not following procurement rules and the law. I also want to categorically state that at no point during this energy transformation process, as far as I'm aware, that we have violated any procurement rules or laws. We entered into a joint venture as provided by the Electricity Act and BPL, received a letter of no objection from ERCA for a single source procurement for the purchase of LNG and the purchase of power by way of a PPA. Okay, Well, I mean, that would be all well and good if everything was totally independent and people weren't in fear that their appointments to various bodies would not be in jeopardy if they did object to things. So, I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that really says anything much, but okay. Again, let's hear from you. 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259, toll free, 242-300-5720. Let's get to these text messages here. This person says here, whenever the PLP members are in administration of government affairs, PLP trolls attack anyone who questions government policies. The government is for every citizen, not only PLPs. No one cares that much about their party other than them. They're the only political party that does this. Well, I don't know if that's true. I don't think that's true at all. The others do it as well. Well, the other one. Maybe not as vigorously. It's a more subtle thing, but it's done. Definitely. Absolutely. This one says here, sounds like the Joe Beth Colby Davis used a loophole to avoid the law. No, it doesn't sound like that. But anyway, this is bad and sounds like a backdoor. No. But again, the points that she's making, we can question those as well. So, But, yeah. So, now what? Half the people say it sounds like privatization. The other half says it's not. That same half says things are going to get better. You watch and see. The other people say we have no faith because we've heard this stuff before, and it looks like only friends and families are going to benefit from this. What do we do now? What can we do? Is there anything at all? Wait and see, or make more noise? What say you on that? Give us a call, text us, tweet us, Facebook us, and we will see. All right, so we'll wait to hear more from you on that. Continue to send your text messages. I'll get back to those in a bit. But there's another story that is really causing us to scratch our heads. You might have heard it on the news yesterday. I want you to take a listen to this. We're not going to make any comments, but just so you know what's going on. Take a listen to this report about an investigation that's underway right now with the Royal Bahamas Defense Force. And listen to this story from our Jared Higgs. All right, we're going to get back to that in just a second. Let's give that a second. There's more messages on what we were just talking about with BPL. Why go to ERCA when they knew ERCA would not refuse? Well, they're required to. They're required to, but... why seek a single source if you never had one when in mind? Okay, some other parts of this I'm not going to read, but yeah. It's an interesting place. People practicing the word jumble, mumbo jumbo stuff. Getting very good at it. Very, very good. But hey, I don't know. All right, so I tell you what, let's take a break, and then we'll get back with that story we talked about. We'll have that for you right as soon as we get in. We'll be back. This is a Friday morning blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. Don't you know that it's
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
RBC. Are you buying a home, renovating, or exploring mortgage options? With cashback and up to 90% financing, we'll find the perfect mortgage for you. Pre-qualify in just 60 seconds and get connected with a mortgage specialist today. Visit rbc.com/mortgages/all of you. RBC. Conditions apply.
It's time for your first look at traffic for the morning, brought to you by RBC. Get a no-fee auto loan with up to 100% financing. The streets are wet, folks. Keep that in mind as you make your way about New Providence today. At this hour, we've got not too bad looking on Mile Butler Highway, just midway between Fire Trail and Tawny Bowling Starling Highway if you're heading northbound. So as you approach Harold Pond, you'll see that heavy traffic in front of you. Elsewhere, we've got Independence Drive, very busy westbound traffic, and there's a lot of water there, so keep that in mind. That is slowing things down quite a bit as you approach the roundabout with Blue Hill Road. Blue Hill Road is a bit busy near Carmichael as well. And just some building traffic along Prince Charles Drive. That's what we're looking at so far. We'll have another update for you after the 8 o'clock news. Again, the streets are wet. Be careful. Be safe out there. Morning Blend Traffic brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/carloan/all of you for more information. .32, time for another check of your weather. A lot happening weather-wise, folks. So here's what you need to know. We've got an elongated tropical disturbance moving along the U.S. eastern seaboard and a potent mid to upper-level trough stretching across the Gulf of Mexico. That's going to funnel deep tropical moisture while dragging a trailing trough across the northern extent of the area. The systems are going to produce bouts of severe weather and heavy rainfall over the northwest and portions of the central Bahamas through tonight, and deep layered ridging will continue to buffer the remainder of the islands, as the southeastern islands, allowing for a dry weather pattern there. But for the northern islands and the central Bahamas, look for that flood watch to continue for the extreme northwest Bahamas. That's Grand Bahama, Abaco, and Bimini. That will continue through this afternoon. But flood risks are elevated for the rest of northwest Bahamas as well, due to the prolonged locally torrential rainfall, especially in low-lying and flood-prone areas, as well as already inundated areas with water. And for the northwest Bahamas, there's a potential for severe weather heading into the weekend. Everybody's being advised to keep up with the alerts from the Department of Meteorology. Beachgoers in the southern Bahamas and the northern islands should exercise caution. There's a moderate risk of rip currents along east and south coast beaches. So for today, for the extreme northwest Bahamas and the rest of the northwest Bahamas, we're looking at cloudy to overcast conditions, warm and locally breezy with scattered showers and widespread thunderstorms. Showers will become locally heavy and thunderstorms can be strong to severe. Swampcraft caution in effect for the northern Bahamas. For the central and southeast Bahamas, partly sunny, very warm and a bit breezy with a few isolated showers. Turning mostly fair and warm with offshore showers tonight. Expect increased cloudiness with heavier showers and possible thunderstorms, mainly affecting the Exumas and Cat Island throughout the day. Temperatures today getting up to only about 84 Fahrenheit, 29 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to 77 Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius. In your extended outlook, that low-pressure system will continue to trek northeastwards, keeping moisture and troughing in place for portions of the northwest Bahamas throughout the weekend. The ridging pattern will extend and expand as the disturbance moves further away from the area, allowing a reduction in severe weather and in flood risks across the northern Bahamas by Sunday. So, for tomorrow, Saturday, cloudy to overcast still, warm and humid with scattered showers and thunderstorms across the northwest and central Bahamas. Partly sunny and warm with a few isolated showers across the southeast Bahamas. By Sunday, partly cloudy and warm with widely scattered showers and a few isolated thunderstorms, mainly across the northernmost islands. We'll have your tropical outlook coming up in your next weather check after the 8 o'clock news. But this weather check brought to you by Easy Car Sales. Easy Car Sales is pleased to announce that the new Geely pickup trucks have arrived. Come and see the luxurious and spacious design of this exceptional all-electric truck. Great torque, large payload, dual cab, and the latest technology that will amaze you. Visit easy242.com to find out more and book your test drive. Reserve yours today. These Geely pickups won't stay on the lot for long.
Living with a neurological condition shouldn't define you. At Cleveland Clinic in Florida, we do whatever it takes to make life better today while discovering new treatments for a brighter tomorrow. From epilepsy management to specialized spine care and brain tumor surgery, we're delivering world-class neurology care for the day-to-day, for the days you live for every care in the world. Visit clevelandclinicflorida.org/Caribbean.
Now let me see now. 326 EPIC. Hello? This Epic Eckert battery. This Miss Beulah from around the corner. I hear you're selling tires now on Wolf Road too.
Praise the Lord. It's about time. I live Fox Hill and Fire Trail. It's too far.
That ain't all. They open Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Sunday and holiday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
My brother Sam, he's a hacker, and he could go right there and get fixed up.
Call us at 326 EPIC. We ship also to the Family Island.
Looking for great device deals and offers this summer? Look no further. Alive has special discounts on the latest smartphones, Ring devices, and accessories. Plus, as an Alive customer, you can expect exclusive yet extra offers and rewards, which means even more value for your money. We're talking more data, prizes, and surprises. Upgrade with us and experience the perfect summer with Alive in store or at bealive.com/deal.
Maybe it's time to explore your options. There's no harm in reviewing your mortgage arrangement and considering a better deal. CIBC Caribbean can help you narrow your search and decide. Switch your mortgage to CIBC Caribbean and enjoy a special interest rate and help towards your switching cost. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/inspired home for more information. Conditions apply.
Mommy, why can't dogs talk? Why do I have to go to school and you don't? Why do you sing in the morning when you're bad at it? Why don't you brush your teeth when you take me to school? Why doesn't it ever snow here? Why does Daddy take the bus to work? Why are trees so tall? Why don't you tell me where babies come from? Mommy, Mommy, Mommy!
We're like a kid that doesn't ask a million questions before noon. CG Atlantic Agents and Brokers. Good like that.
Happy Independence Bahamas! Let's celebrate 50+1 together with a unique Janae's Uniform Center Independence print, dry-fit polo or t-shirts, ribbons and pole bows in black, gold, and aquamarine. Janae's special family package includes buy 2 adults and 3 children Independence polos or t-shirts and get 15% off. Outfit your staff for a special Independence dress of week or day with a different design. For more than 30 pieces of Janae's Independence polos or t-shirts, get up to 25% discount. Janae's Uniform Center Chesapeake Road Independence Selections. Choose your favorite and celebrate 50+1. Restrictions apply.
In the world of business, technology is not a choice, it's a necessity. And for businesses that demand excellence, there's only one choice for unparalleled support and cutting-edge technology. Custom Computers. You have challenges and we have solutions. Computing, networking, storage, and printing for enterprises large and small, aligned with premium brands like HP, Microsoft, Konica Minolta, and more. Get tech done the right way with Custom Computers. Call the know-how team at 396-1101.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong with you on this Friday morning. All right, so we can get to that story that we promised in just a second. Just a couple of your text messages. Some people, people got a lot to say about the BPL issue. Let's just put it like that. Some of these I cannot read, but no one's buying the not being privatized story, it seems. All right, let's take this call really quickly, and then I want to get to that report. Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Golly day to start me when I was along with you, Dwight.
Hi, good morning.
Dwight. Hello?
Yeah, we're listening.
Okay, good. Did you know it said that today is the last day for Morning Blend?
What now?
Say it again?
What did you say?
Have you said earlier that today is the last?
No. Well, why would we? What? No. Okay, let's go to that report. This is very interesting from our Jared Higgs.
The Royal Bahamas Defense Force is investigating claims made by an officer that he was beaten up by a superior officer. Meanwhile, that officer who made the claim says he wants the matter handled by police.
I feel abandoned and betrayed, to be honest.
28-year-old able mechanic Marvon Miller, in a written report to the Royal Bahamas Defense Force Intelligence, said he and the officer had a few drinks on board the ship before the crew went to a bar where they had a few more. The Nassau Guardian understands drinking alcohol is not permitted on board RBDF vessels. In any event, Miller said when crew members returned to their ship, a physical altercation took place between him and the senior officer, with Miller saying it was due to his frustration with the man constantly bullying him.
We had a disagreement. We ended up having an altercation with each other. Therefore, one of his squadmates jumped in, and them two proceeded to gang up on me. Started ganging me. That's where they started to punch and kick me while I was on the floor, until the crew was able to break the fight up. Then after that.
The next day, he says there was a meeting with crew members and commanders. There, he says a senior officer instructed the other crew members to exit the area, leaving him alone with the command team. After asking if the senior officer had a problem with him, Miller said he was attacked again.
He sat down on the sofa, then he started to scoot closer and closer to me until he got close up on me. To which the exchange of words continued to happen. Then he just started hitting me in my face, my mouth, and in the back of the head. To my knowledge, what I can recall, it was about 5 times before someone intervened. The crew was the one who actually broke up the fight instead of the command team who was presently in the room at the time.
Miller said other officers then secured his belongings, and the HMBS Kamalame left for Nassau without him.
I feel as though it shouldn't have happened like that, or whatever. I feel as though he could have de-escalated the situation a little better, and he could have go about the situation a lot better than it actually went, how it went now.
Royal Bahamas Defense Force Commodore Raymond King told the Tribune the matter was being investigated and that the military justice system is robust enough to effectively address all breaches in a transparent and objective manner. However, Miller said he wants the matter to be handled by the police.
When I came back to Nassau, I was picked up by the intelligence department, the Defense Force Intelligence Department, who took me straight to base, where all my injuries was recorded: the black eye, 2 missing teeth, cuts and bruises, injury to my back or whatever. And then I went home. The following day, I put in, 2 days afterwards, I put in a police report, a formal police report.
Miller said he sought medical attention for his injuries I asked what outcome he's hoping for.
Personally, I really hope no one else get treated this way. No one has to go through what I went through. Going forward, that's what I really hope for. But I also hope for to be that this whole situation don't get swept under the rug. But I also intend on pursuing this matter civilly. So hopefully that I could be reimbursed for my pain and suffering as well, because the damages I sustained, especially the missing tooth, that is a pretty hefty bill. So I really hope that I could be compensated for that.
All right, our Jared Hicks with that report there. Quite a story. We will see what comes out of that. We'll keep you posted on that one. All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back, the Bahamas AIDS Foundation has an exciting raffle to tell us about. You don't want to miss this. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Sherwin-Williams Bahamas doesn't mess about when it comes to product range and product knowledge.
If it's a new product come in the store, we walk the store and study that product.
One thing with our boss, if a new product comes in, he takes the time and he's always keeping us up to date with product knowledge. And we just had 9 weeks of different products that we had to study, and we had exams at the end of each product.
Yeah.
The only way we can sell the product effective, we have to know that product. Yeah, that helps us to relate to our customers. It gives us better knowledge to know what product to introduce to them. You understand? So we can know what product to give them to use and what product not to give them to use. So product knowledge is really key in Sherwin-Williams.
They got the keys. And the key is the product knowledge that comes with our extensive product range at Sherwin-Williams Paints, Bahamas. Find color in every day.
Do you have uncontrollable debt? Are you ready to make that move to Fidelity for a stress-free future? These loans have a built-in savings plan that pays you unbeatable interest. Ask about our debt consolidation loans today. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Attention all Dunkin' lovers.
Are you ready to fly away this summer? Dunkin' has an irresistible offer just for you. During the month of June, every purchase of a dozen donuts at Dunkin' enters you for a chance to win big in the Father's Day Flyaway. 2 lucky winners will jet off on Bahamas Air with round-trip tickets to any Bahamas Air destination. Dads flying on Bahamas Air on Father's Day receive a special Dunkin' treat. Visit Dunkin' today and enter to win in the Father's Day Flyaway. The Bahamas flies on Dunkin'.
Now let me see now. 326 ETIC. Hello? This Epic Eckert battery. This Miss Beulah from round the corner. I hear you're selling tires now on Wolf Road too.
Praise the Lord. It's about time. I live Fox Hill and Fire Trail. It's too far.
That ain't all. They open Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. On Sunday and holiday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
My brother Sam, he's a hacker, and he could go right there and get fixed up.
Call us at 326 EPIC. We ship also to the Family Island.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
It's gonna be a hot summer. Get ready for the NACAC Athletics 3rd
3rd Annual New Life Invitational as the race to Paris continues. Join us on Sunday, June 16th at the original Thomas A. Robinson National Stadium as Team Bahamas and over 170 international track and field athletes from over 18 countries compete for another chance to qualify for the Paris Olympics. Gates open at 5 p.m. Races start at 6 p.m. Don't miss the exciting individual races and relays from world champions and Olympians. Watch the epic showdowns between countries from around the world like Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, the United States, Canada, Liberia, and our very own Team Bahamas as they all battle in one of their last chances to qualify for Paris. Buy your tickets today at nacacparis.com or NACACparis.com. That's the New Life Invitational, Sunday, June 16th. It's gonna be hot. You don't want to miss it.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Sunshine on my body, sunshine on my nose. I swim in the ocean without any clothes. Sunshine on my body.
We are back with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Not much sunshine outside today, but we've got sunshine in the studio, especially when you hear these amazing prizes for this raffle. This is quite something. It's the Bahamas AIDS Foundation annual grand raffle coming up Saturday. Here to tell us all about this, we're very pleased to have back with us Lady Camille Barnett and Monique Knowles.
Good morning.
Good morning. Great to have you all with us.
Good morning.
This is you do this annually? This is
we do it annually.
How many times have you been doing this now?
For at least 6 or 7 years.
Okay. Wow,
yes,
wonderful.
Yeah.
These prizes are quite special. Before we get to those,
yes.
Tell us how this raffle helps the Bahamas AIDS Foundation.
Okay, so we have 2 very large programs that are expensive. One, of course, is our outreach program with children and adolescents. And what we use the funds for is to provide groceries to the children and their families. So once a week, our social worker goes shopping and then drops off groceries. And there are about 177 individuals who actually impacted from these deliveries. We started it during COVID when we could no longer bring the kids into our space. And after COVID, once COVID subsided, we realized that the need was still there. Mm-hmm. So we had to continue with the grocery program. And of course, the other things as well that go along with the outreach program, including counseling, access to psychological counseling, as well as access to a social worker. They are able to get support if they're in hospital, or just to get them to clinic, or to help them get documents, go through government to get documents, referrals to other kind of agencies, etc. So all of that is part and parcel of our outreach program. Excellent. And then our other big program is what we call AIDS 101 in the Family Islands. Mm-hmm. So we've made a commitment to go to 5 family islands every year. And we started before COVID, and of course COVID, put a damper to that. And we started up again, and we've been to Acklands and Crooked Island, Long Island, Berry Islands, Inagua, Harbor Island, Berry Islands, Bimini. So, and it's very successful. Mm-hmm. And along with the education goes HIV testing. So we partner with the Ministry of Health, and they send out their lab techs to do the testing. Mm-hmm. And when we go out, we target all age groups. Of course, the information that they get depends on the level of education and age. Not education, but the level of age. So the children, the adolescents, and the adults are all, and it's a compact, 2-day kind of session where you try and cover as much of the island as you can, getting information out to people. So those are our 2 major programs. And this year, we've started to do AIDS 101 in New Providence as well, too. Yeah. Because
I'm curious. I mean, for some reason, I don't know why I'm always thinking of HIV and AIDS as a city problem. But the Family Islands, what are we seeing on the islands?
Yes, but obviously the main brunt of the new cases come from New Providence. There's no doubt about that. It's New Providence, then Grand Bahama, and then the rest of the Family Islands. But the challenge is that often things don't get out to the Family Islands. And so it's important that they get the information as well, too. Even though there may only be one or two cases, still the information needs to get out to them.
And Nasuvians and Grand Bahamians like to move about the place as well. So
and they're very grateful you coming out to them because everything is so Nassau-centric. But they really appreciate the information.
Excellent. Excellent. All right. So this is being drawn tomorrow.
Yes, absolutely.
Is it too late to get some tickets?
No, definitely not. We're going to be, I'm going to let Monique talk about where all they can buy tickets.
All right, Monique, tell us about that. Where and how much?
Okay, thank you. We have been out for the past few Saturdays. Tomorrow will be a very big day for us because we have one of the local Scottish Lodge men, the Brotherhood of the Lodge, every year help our cause to raise funds, and they do what they call a raffle sales blitz. So that'll be taking place tomorrow. Some of the locations include CBS in the Southwest Plaza, Kelly's, Quality Supermarket, Sea Grape and Cable Beach, Super Value, Golden Gates, Lowe's Harbor Bay, and Lowe's Southwest Plaza. So if you came out and bear the weather, we would love for you to come out and support us and the Brotherhood Lodge and their sales blitz. They'll be out selling the raffle tickets. We'll also be by JFK 700 Wines and Spirits, which is where the raffle drawing will be held at 6 p.m. And so we'll be out there from about maybe 10 all day selling tickets as well at that 700 Wines and location. And so we would just encourage everybody to come out. We do have a lot of great prizes. First prize is the...
Before you do that, what's the cutoff time to buy tickets?
I think we're going to aim for about 3, 4 o'clock, the latest. But you can always come straight up to the time at the drawing location, which is the 700 Wines location, because the drawing will be at 6 o'clock promptly. We'll post, of course, the winners online and arrange for everybody to come in to the foundation next week to collect the actual prize. But the drawing will be tomorrow at 6. And so we're excited. And, we've had an overwhelming support so far from the community. I'd like to thank all of the volunteers that have come out for the last couple of Saturdays, all of the donors who donated to the fabulous prizes, and of course to the public and their support. We're getting calls every day. I need 20 more books. I need 10 more books.
Okay,
and so,
wonderful.
It's been good.
Excellent. Okay, so let's talk about this big prize,
Yes.
right? Which, who would have thought it would be fitting in with what we were talking about earlier on the show? I just can't believe it. But anyway, that's how things work. Tell us about this grand prize.
The $4,500 BPL voucher was donated by a combination of what we call
See, when
family.
you say it like that, you downplay it. You need to say $4,500
Yes.
voucher.
Everyone
for
can
PPL.
use that.
But that would be like 1 month bill, right?
No, I'm trying to sell the tickets, man. I keep telling you, depending on your usage, you should get at least 6 months out of this, 4,500 at least.
Okay.
But yes, we had that as a combination of supporters of the foundation combined to make that our grand prize.
Wow.
And so that, I think for a
$4,500 voucher
ticket
for BPL. Good Lord.
Yeah, so I think for the $2 ticket, people are willing to, just go ahead and buy a $20 book to see if they can, even the second prize, the $1,200 Rubis voucher. I mean, I don't know about anybody else, but I could make that stretch for a year.
Absolutely. These are
Yes.
really amazing. Really amazing. Okay, let's see if we can quickly go through the rest of them. Although I think everybody wants those too. What's number 3?
So number 3 is the 2-night stay at Spanish Wells Yacht Haven.
Oh, wow.
And that is combined with the 2 Bahamas Ferry passes to get to Spanish Wells.
Oh, man.
And that was donated by Bahamas Ferries, and the Spanish Wells Yacht Haven was donated by Milton Moscow.
Okay.
And so then the 4th prize, we have the 2 round trip tickets to Bahamas Air on one of their U.S. routes, and that was donated by Bahamas Air Holdings. The 5th prize, $500 gift card from Going Places Travel. That was donated by Going Places. Number 6, $500 gift certificate from Super Value Winton. Not Winton, Super Value. And that was donated by Mr. Rupert Roberts Jr.
That's a pretty good one, too.
Yes,
That's an excellent one.
Number 7 is a 10-inch Apple iPad, 9th generation. I don't know about these things, but I guess that's something.
That's nice. That's
nice. And that was donated by Custom Computers.
Okay.
The 8th prize is a turquoise necklace and earring set that was donated by Coin of the Realm. The 9th prize is a $250 CBS Bahamas gift certificate, and that was donated by CBS Bahamas.
Very nice.
The 10th prize is a $200 gift certificate to Kelly's House and Home, and that was donated by Kelly's. The 11th prize is a $200 gift certificate for Quality Home Center, and that was donated by Quality Home Center. And the 12th prize is a painting and picture frame donated by Troy Aiken over in Madeira. And so those are our prizes, and I would say thank you to all the people and good luck to all of the
That
winners.
is wonderful stuff.
exactly.
I got to buy a book myself. This is all great stuff, and congratulations to anyone who wins any of these. But thank you all for the great work that you continue to do with the Bahamas AIDS Foundation.
Thank you. I have another event that I wanted to share with your listeners. The National HIV/AIDS Program, in partnership with the Bahamas AIDS Foundation, are doing what they call regional testing. And starting today, I don't know about the weather, but they're going to be today at Eastern Parade Park on East Bay from 9 to 6. Next week, Friday, they're there. They're at Fox Hill Park, Burnett Road, from 8 to 3 p.m. And then on June the 28th, they're going to be at R.M. Bailey Park from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m.
Okay.
And they're doing testing.
Excellent.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you all so much. We're going
Thank
to go
you
to the
too.
news, but thank you, Lady Barnett
Yes.
and Monique Knowles. Thank you. And again, keep up the great work with the Bahamas AIDS Foundation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for
We're
having
back
us.
after the news.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We're streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Float Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us on the Guardian Radio text line powered by BTC 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan at 8:29. It's time for another check of your weather for today. Brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. Here's what's happening. We've got an elongated tropical disturbance moving along the U.S. eastern seaboard and a potent mid to upper level trough stretching across the Gulf of Mexico. That's going to funnel deep tropical moisture, dragging a trailing trough across the northern part of the area. These systems are going to produce bouts of severe weather and heavy rainfall over the northwest and even portions of the central Bahamas today through tonight. But deep layered ridging will continue to buffer the remainder of the islands, the southeast Bahamas, allowing for a dry weather pattern there to develop throughout the day. But for the northwest Bahamas, a flood watch is still in effect for the extreme northwest Bahamas, Grand Bahama, Abaco, and Bimini until this afternoon. But even for the rest of the northwest Bahamas, including New Providence, flood risks are elevated For the remainder of the islands, due to prolonged and locally torrential rainfall, especially in low-lying and flood-prone areas and areas already inundated with water. And for the Northwest Bahamas, there is the potential for severe weather today heading into the weekend. Everybody's being advised to keep informed of the weather alerts from the Department of Meteorology throughout the weekend. For beachgoers in the northern and southeast Bahamas, there is a moderate risk of rip currents along eastern and southern shorelines. So your forecast for today for the extreme northwest Bahamas and the northwest Bahamas, we're looking at cloudy to overcast conditions, warm and locally breezy with scattered showers and widespread thunderstorms. Showers will become locally heavy and thunderstorms strong to severe. Small craft caution in effect for the northern islands. For the central and southeast Bahamas today, partly sunny, very warm and a bit breezy with a few isolated showers. Turning mostly fair and warm with offshore showers tonight. Expect cloudiness, increased cloudiness with heavier showers and possible thunderstorms, mainly affecting the Exumas and Cat Island throughout the day today. Temperatures, thanks to all this rain, will be lower for highs around 84 Fahrenheit, 29 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 77 Fahrenheit, 25 Celsius. In your extended outlook as we head into the weekend, the low pressure system will continue moving towards the northeast, keeping moisture and troughing in place for portions of the northwest Bahamas throughout the weekend. But the ridging pattern will extend and expand as the disturbance moves further away. That's going to allow for a reduction in severe weather and for drier conditions by Sunday. So ahead of that for Saturday, tomorrow, cloudy to overcast, warm and humid with scattered showers and thunderstorms across the northwest and central islands. Partly sunny and warm for the southeastern islands with just a few isolated showers. Pretty much the same for Sunday. Partly cloudy to cloudy and warm with widely scattered showers and a few isolated thunderstorms, mainly across the northernmost islands. In the tropics, this area that we've been talking about, we are watching that. That's an elongated area of low pressure offshore the United States, producing this large area of disorganized showers and thunderstorms as it moves offshore towards the northeast out into the Atlantic. The system has a low chance, though, only about 20% chance for tropical cyclone formation for the next 7 days. There's another system, this one in the Gulf of Mexico. A broad area of low pressure is forecast to form in that area late this weekend or early next week. This is the southwestern Gulf of Mexico. That system has about a 40% chance of tropical cyclone formation during the next 7 days. So that is your morning blend weather check, brought to you by Sherwin-Williams Paints. Sherwin-Williams Paints has got you covered for all of your painting and equipment needs. Visit Sherwin-Williams Paints online or in-store today. And time for another check of your traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. Get a no-fee auto loan with up to 100% financing. Again, the streets are very wet, folks. Keep that in mind. Flooding in some areas, and that's going to cause you some delays, I'm sure. But thankfully, quite a few schools are already closed, and so the traffic levels are definitely nowhere near what they were a month ago. But we are still seeing heavy travel from about just north of the Fire Trail roundabout, if you're heading northbound, all the way up to Tawny Williams-Darling Highway. Carmichael is busy as well. Just east of Fire Trail, you're going to run into that traffic as you make your way eastbound towards Blue Hill Road. Blue Hill Road is busy from that junction, and then you're going to see more traffic north of Soldier Road on the way to Independence Drive. Independence Drive is where we're seeing heavy traffic, both directions, but especially westbound. There is always major flooding there as you approach the roundabout with Blue Hill, so keep that in mind. That is definitely slowing things down for you if you're heading westbound on Blue Hill Road this morning. Well, towards Blue Hill Road this morning on Independence Drive. Elsewhere, we've got Robinson Road busy just west of Soldier Road as you approach the Old Trail intersection, making your way towards East-West Highway and Marathon Road. And then at Beatrice Avenue, Prince Charles Drive, also seeing some traffic there. Those are your hot spots this morning, though. Again, keep in mind that the roads are wet and flooded. Morning Blend traffic brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/carloan/all of you for more information.
Ignite your leadership capabilities, expand your vision, and chart the path to a bright future at the CIBC Caribbean Ignite Leadership Conference, 27th of June at Bahamar from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Join Sarah Kunst, a venerated entrepreneur who has worked at Apple and Red Bull. Sarah is a Forbes 30 Under 30 Future Innovator and has been honored by the Wall Street Journal. Also hear about the leadership journey of Anthony Ferguson and Crystal Rutherford Ferguson. This event is designed for senior business executives and seasoned entrepreneurs. Register at cibcfcib.com/ignite to secure your space. Only successful registrants will be acknowledged. Join us for the Ignite Leadership Conference, June 27th at Bahamar.
RBC. Life is full of twists, turns, and defining moments that create your own unique story. However your story unfolds, we're here to help guide you through it. From every big decision to every new adventure, RBC. Visit rbc.com/Caribbean/all of you.
At Wendy's, we are different. We don't just use beef, it's fresh, never frozen. Our burgers are square because we never cut corners. Served hot off the grill with fresh lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and American cheese. We believe in fast food done right. Always serving fresh, never frozen beef. Order a hot, juicy Dave single, double, or triple. Made with fresh, never frozen beef. Now only at Wendy's. Different inside and out.
Might seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. I'm a hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air, like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like.
We're back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong with you on this Friday morning. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to be talking with GOPers March On. The final showing they're telling us is the fourth time they've been here in New Providence. But it'll be the last time. But hey, if you haven't seen it, you need to see it. We'll give you all the details in just a bit. But there is a great story that I wanted you to hear. If you missed it, you might have heard it just now in the news, though. But something very exciting, and I've wondered why this has been the case for many years. Many, many years. But it looks like this will finally be resolved very soon. Take a listen to this report from our Destiny Johnson.
The government has partnered with the Gaming Board and the Fox Foundation to construct 8 pools in 8 public schools across New Providence. A groundbreaking ceremony was held on Thursday at Government High School, where the first pool in this project will be built. Prime Minister Philip Davis, who is a former leader of the Bahamas Swimming Federation, says the project is necessary as 95% of Bahamians cannot swim.
As someone who once led part of the Bahamas Swimming Federation, and now I was a swim father, and I'm a swim grandfather, Nancy, who deeply appreciates the value of swimming. This initiative is profoundly personal to me. It resonates with my core belief that every child in the Bahamas deserves to thrive, not just on the land, but in the water that surrounds our beautiful islands.
Co-founder of the Fox Foundation, Adrian Fox, says the initiative will begin in 8 schools, but the goal is for every school in the country to have a pool.
I be looking around there with all these beautiful, beautiful kids, and you want to make sure that they don't lose their life when they go swimming or something like that, you know what I mean? So we take the initiative to put this idea together, along with Ms. Hannah and our group, Danny Johnson. And I must say, it coming together. It ain't no easy job, but it coming together. you know, Hannah don't play. When she say get it done, get it done.
Education Minister Glenys Hannah Martin says the government is changing the status quo by empowering people to embrace their talents.
Well, we know that in our public schools we have incredible sporting talent. And we are going to see very, very soon in swimming what our young people can do. We heard about sailing, the national sport. It's now in the curriculum. And we're going to ensure that our children are able to swim and participate in that particular sport.
Owner and operator of Pool Doctors Nathaniel Roll says the pool will be completed in the next 12 weeks.
The pool is a 25-meter pool with 6 swim lanes. The depth is a 8-foot depth to 5-foot one. Pretty much most of the features there.
Reporting for Guardian News Network, I'm Destiny Johnson.
All right. So again, I've been wondering why the public schools don't have pools. Just never understood it, and I'm glad to see corporate Bahamas stepping up. Let's get your quick reaction to it, folks. What do you think about it? I think it's great. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. You can call us toll free, 242-300-5720. Need some corporate citizens to step up and see if we can get some on the Family Islands too. How about that? Yeah. Let's see what you have to say. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Okay, call us back. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259, toll free again, 242-300-5720. Can you imagine this in a couple of years, how competitive things will be with not just the private school students dominating swim meets, if the public school students can get into this as well. Really, really going to be great. So we'll keep you posted on that story. We'll see how this goes, and hope that this is a major game changer for Bahamian students here. Getting some messages here. Let's get, oh boy, okay. Oh my Lord, here we go. So, well, I guess that's to be expected, right? That not everybody be as positive feeling about it. This person says here, what's the maintenance plan and what deal is Fox Foundation getting for this donation? Oh my Lord. I no longer look at any of these cozy relationships the government has as innocent. Great show. I love the idea of the pool. Okay. This person says, did I hear 12 weeks, the time frame for the first pool to be completed? I think you did. What is that too short, you thinking, or what do you make of that? What? Pools should be in every school, amongst other things. A lot happens in schools that we can't get at home. Okay. I don't mind corporate Bahamas stepping up, but given the reputation of certain people I'm editing, I don't like the idea of it. Well, hey, if nobody... okay, I'm just going to keep my mouth shut. This texter, this is a good initiative, Dwight. The challenge, however, is the maintenance and the upkeep plan. What? Kersner built several schools around the island for schools, and would you believe some of them were never used? Did that happen? They remain run down and dilapidated. Did that happen? Yeah? I don't remember that. Okay. Yeah, a lot of questions about the maintenance. Well, we keep saying that we've learned our lessons from things that have happened in the past, right? Do we think we've learned here that you need to keep the pool clean and update it and upgrade it and maintain it? No, we don't think that. Okay. Dwight, actually, schools won't be ready for September after all the summer repairs, and you think the pool will be ready? Mind you, I love the idea, but I think this time frame is not realistic. And by the way, how's the Fox Hill Community Pool looking? Oh, my Lord. Okay. Well, it's not the same people who do the pool thing, who do the maintenance and the school upgrade thing. So maybe it's different? I don't know. I have no idea. This person says here, I don't like the idea. Oh, man. Okay. Okay. I do. We're playing happy because it was a good thing. Everyone's got the negativity. I don't like the idea of this personality in front of the... Oh, man. Kingsway ain't get their pool yet. What's that got to do with anything? Is that a public school? I don't understand what you're saying. My only problem is that some will urinate in the pool. Let's go to break. Oh, boy. got a problem. Everything is a problem. We can't be happy about anything. We got to do something. Somebody's got to do something so there can be some optimism in the country again. What will it take? What will it take? Let's see if this text will help us end on a positive note. A major game changer, indeed, for public school students to learn to swim and to be able to compete. Okay. Hey, we'll be back. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
I'm happy. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Because I'm happy. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do.
Are you tired of the hustle and bustle of city life, yearning for a relaxing getaway without the headaches of international travel? Well, we've got just the thing for you. Escape to paradise without leaving home with our limited time 2-fly free offer for Bahamas residents. Whether you're craving adventure, seeking to reconnect with your roots, or simply yearning to unwind in secluded shores, the Family Islands has something for everyone. But you better act fast because this incredible 2-fly free offer is only available until June 30th. Don't let this opportunity slip away. So why wait? Book your trip today. Escape the ordinary, discover the extraordinary, and experience the magic of the Family Islands. Visit BahamasResidence.com for more information and start planning your ultimate island getaway today.
Doctors Hospital has reimagined primary care. We have invested to improve our health system, ensuring that accessible, affordable, world-class clinical care is closer to you. We understand that your relationship with a primary care provider shapes the foundation of your overall health. Our new modern primary care facilities are where critical diagnoses and true personalized treatment begins. With locations across New Providence, Grand Bahama, and Exuma, we invite you to experience the Doctors Hospital difference. Book your next appointment at clinics.doctorshosp.com.
Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Street, has those hard-to-find fasteners for you right now. You can find stainless steel regular hex, carriage bolts, galvanized bolts, threaded rods, nails, self-tap screws, sex bolts, anchor bolts, turnbuckles, masonry tools, hand tools, and weed whacker strings. Check out the rope selection and car body fasteners, too. Special orders are welcome. It's your #1 fastener store. Screws and Fasteners World, Balfour Avenue and Palm Beach Streets. Call 326-1976.
We all know that our country's electricity infrastructure is decades old. It is breaking down, it is too expensive, and it cannot transmit clean energy. Small changes aren't enough. We are taking it all on. Upgrading and modernizing the grid, solar power, major energy reform. That's how we get to lower prices and more reliable electricity. It will not happen overnight, but it will be game-changing.
Go to newenergyera.gov.bs to learn more.
Nassau is the capital, Bahamas. Bimini is the gateway, Bahamas. 1492, Columbus landed. 1973, we were free. From Nassau to Inagua, Bahamas. From Freeport to Miguana, Bahamas. Tourists love our country, Bahamas. 700 islands, Bahamas. Happy Independence, Bahamas. Happy anniversary, Bahamas. Happy Independence, Bahamas. Golden anniversary, Bahamas. Regarding in Exuma, Bahamas. Fishing in Long Island, Bahamas. Sailing on the Melbourne, Bahamas. Diamond Conch and West End, Bahamas. Peas and rice and fried fish, Bahamas. Pineapple from Lucre, Bahamas. Flamenco from Inagua, Bahamas. That island started Rapey Spray, Bahamas. Happy Independence, Bahamas. Happy anniversary, Bahamas.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong with you on this Friday, and it's back. They're saying it's the final time. I don't know if I believe them. But Gia Pierre's March On, the story of us, returns this weekend. Here to tell us all about it. We're very pleased to have back with us Gia Pierre, along with Will Stubbs and Jaquay Adderley. Everybody, welcome. Great to have you with us.
Hi, Dwight. Hi, Nassau.
Gia, is it really the final time?
It is the final time.
well, 4 is quite a run.
It is quite a run. We started in November, and it's the final time in Nassau. We don't end here. We have Abaco at the beginning of. So when we just got back from the Turks and Caicos Islands, so it was quite.
Yeah, you've been very busy. Tell us about Turks and Caicos. The last time you were on the show, you were about to head down there. What was that like?
Oh, it was absolutely amazing. The cast did a tremendous job. The engagement of the audience. I don't want to say it was unmatched because we had some amazing shows, of course, in Nassau and in Freeport. But it was like nothing we've ever seen. The appreciation of the persons in Turks and Caicos. Definitely the Bahamians there felt, we got stories back about the pride they felt sitting in that audience. Yeah. And they showed up wearing Bahamian flag colors. It was just an amazing time.
Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, I was going to ask you about that because, people always say there's so many Bahamians down there. We have a major Turks connection, especially Grand Bahama and Turks and Caicos, but they got it. They got
it was
the story.
Under the patronage of the premier, so it was just a good time. It was an amazing time.
All right, wonderful.
Laughter from beginning to end.
Excellent. All right, so for those who aren't familiar, tell us what March On, the story of us, is all about.
It's just that. It's just the story of us. It's the story that takes you through 1973, straight up to now, with all the amazing things that happened to get us where we are today. And it's done in just a humorous, engaging way, where you kind of don't realize you're learning and taking things in at the same time as you're just enjoying what you've come to expect from us, which is comedy, drama, little scandal mixed in. So I just think it's an amazing experience.
All right. We got Will and Jaquay with us?
Yes, definitely.
Morning.
Good morning. Great to have you with us. All right. So, of course, Jaquay better known as Dasquay. But tell everybody about your characters and how you got involved with the wonderful Gia Pierre.
Go ahead, Quay.
So I was always an avid follower of Gia Pierre. Funny thing is, I used to watch her shows twice. So whenever I heard she was having a play, I'd fly to Freeport, watch the show, and then she'd pop in Nassau. So I'd go tell everybody how good it was, and I'd go watch it again.
Oh, wow.
And then I had the privilege of being a part of this golden play that she has written for it, because I've been acting for a while, and I've always admired, great writers, and she was one of them. So it's indeed a privilege to be a part of this production and to be a part of a team.
That is a great story. That's a great story. What about you, Will?
Man, listen, I just love working with Gia Pierre. It's not my first run. I've performed with her in I Object, Perfect in Weakness, Tribute to Mama, We Gotta Do Better, and a few others. But this one here, I believe she outdid herself with the putting together of this one. I told her the other day she just knocked it out of the ballpark, and I am a student of history, and in this particular production, we talk about the story of us, giving you a bit of comedy. Persons told me when they saw persons like Dasquay and myself on the flyer, they knew they were in for a laugh. But what they wasn't prepared for was that history lesson that they got at the end. And so I think she outdid herself with the writing of this one, March On. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. And Gia, this this was everything, a history lesson, comedy, but also family drama, and really touching family drama. You feel like you got some sort of bipolar disorder when you go through all the emotions in that period of time, the laughing and the crying. There was a time that brought me to tears. Tell us about that. How you mastered this and the reactions you're getting from the audience, which is often interactive. Tell us more about that.
I'll tell you one first, right? When you said bipolar, my team in the room with me couldn't stop laughing at the thought. But when I'm writing, I try to invoke the emotion of what I want from the audience. I try to invoke it in myself. So if I can cry, if I can laugh, if I can feel something, then I know it will get the audience. So I think people, like you say, they expect a laugh from us. They expect something. I hope that we they can expect excellence, but I don't think they expect the emotion of it. And I think that people don't realize the pride one has in his own country. It's a huge thing. So they don't expect that to stir up. And then the family dynamic of it. There's a scene with a father and a son that you can be in your seat and you can shout back at the stage.
Yeah.
It's just so, emotional. A lady was telling me that she took her granddaughter. She wants them to get into theater. And she said, why is he saying that to his father? So she was getting so involved in the emotion of it. So it's a lot that goes on and a lot that's unexpected. So I always say, whatever you have, whatever you think the story of Us March On is, I think it will exceed your expectations.
Absolutely. You mentioned father-son relationships. This is a great time for this Father's Day this weekend. Let's talk about that and how people can see this wonderful production.
Okay, I'll take it. I think I was in the audience the last time we was here. We was in the audience, and we had the family dynamic, the father-son dynamic, and a son looked at his dad and said, "Thank you, Daddy, for all you did," just by watching the scene.
Yeah.
And the father said to us that he's never been so touched in his life, and he thought a lot about his own father, now deceased. So we've been selling it as that. Jaquay just did a video telling fathers, daddy's gonna laugh too. Bring them out on Sunday.
Yeah, no more crab, no more belt, socks, bow tie, the regular, no toolbox. Spend some quality time with your father and bring them to the plate. And like Gia said, they're gonna connect with it. There's even a scene where, and I don't want to spoil it, the father goes to rear up at the son, and you could feel the audience, everybody in the audience will slap the son too. And you'll see why when you come to the play.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so tell us how to get the tickets, where to get the tickets from, and the show times this weekend.
We have a box office at Marathon Mall. It's at Gorgeous Essentials, and then it's online. You can take this number, 818-1542, and you can get the online details. WhatsApp us, and we'll give you all the details you need. The show is not on Friday. It's not tonight. It starts tomorrow at 8 p.m. at the Atlantis Theater, and it's Sunday at 4 and 8. Tomorrow, which is Saturday at 8 p.m., and Sunday at 4 and 8. There's no Friday show.
All right. And as you said, this is the final chance New Providence will get to see this.
Yes. Four is the charm. 4 times the charm.
Wow.
You can't miss it.
Definitely not.
Hey, Dwight?
Will, yes, go on.
Yeah, I would like to add, to let the audience know, those who are coming to the show, to make sure your laughing shaft is touching your giggling pin. And for God's sake, wear your Pampers.
Wow.
You're forewarned. Wear your Pampers. It's going to be that kind of atmosphere. I kid you not.
Absolutely.
You saw it.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Like I said, went through all the emotions. Cannot believe it. This is up there, and you've done fantastic work, Gia, but this is definitely up there with one of your best ever. And didn't expect it to be this roller coaster ride, but it was so fun and so great. And fitting, because this was the 50th anniversary last year. It was really just amazing in time, but it is a timeless classic.
Yes.
Really great as Father's Day is coming up as well. So just and the crew, the staff, the cast, everybody just really on point. Good stuff. Very proud of you. Let's see. Go on. Mm-hmm.
No, I was just saying thank you to you. Thank you.
All right, no problem. Let's see this caller. Hopefully they have something great to say. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Will. Good morning, Dasway.
Hi.
And, of course, good morning, Gia. I know, Gia, you may not remember me. I was the technical manager at the Rainforest Theater. You did do a production there.
That's Jeff.
You go.
I object, yes.
Okay.
Jeff.
I remember that play very passionately. It was very well performed, and I expected nothing going forward from you in terms of excellence. I know you're going to perfect this to a point where everybody can appreciate your abilities in writing productions. The only thing I would like to suggest at this point, which I know this is quite absent, is that with the productions that Bahamians do, Gia, as far as going forward, are you going to perhaps incorporate a professional company that will video your production, so it's more like a syndicated or something like that, whereas at a later stage at the theater or so, you can actually put this on the big screen and actually have persons watch the production if they were unable to actually be there in the theater to watch these shows. I mean, that's just an aspect that I believe the playwright, the producers, and the local persons who film should get together and actually do these things, not for this generation, but for generations to come. That's just something I wanted to add in there. Will, you and I, we go way back. I've done many productions with you in the Rainforest.
Indeed.
So you know where I stand when it comes down to this sort of stuff. So
absolutely.
Basically, I just wanted to congratulate you, Gia, on another excellent job. I'm hoping and I'm praying that I am able to attend the show tomorrow and just see where it goes from there. Because you and I will sit down and talk about some other stuff.
Great.
That I think can actually work going forward.
All right. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. All right, Gio, we got 30 seconds. One more time. Let people know the show times and where to get the tickets.
The show times, again, it's Saturday tomorrow at 8. Sunday at 4 and 8 is at the Atlantis Theater in Coral Towers. You can get tickets at the Gorgeous Essentials on Mall at Marathon, or you can call, what's up, 818-1542, and we'll tell you how to get tickets online and all the info you need. And once again, thank you so much, Dwight. Thank you, Nassau. Stay as dry as possible today. And we'll hopefully see you tomorrow or Sunday.
Excellent stuff. Thank you again. Oh, just wonderful, wonderful. March on, the story of us. One more time for Nassau to see it. Saturday and Sunday. Gia Pierre, thank you. You are a national treasure. And, of course, that's Quay and Will Stubbs. Thank you very much. And the entire cast.
Thank you.
All right. We're going to take a break for news and be back with Morning Blend Business in just a bit. Stay with us.
Regarding headed to my Bahamas, fishing in Long Island, Bahamas, sailing on the Melbourne, Bahamas, diamond pumpkin resting, Bahamas.
This is Guardian Radio, 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
The views and opinions of the host and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Friday, June 14th, 2024. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan. This morning we are talking about BPL and IRCA's role in the way forward, the reform that is said to be taking place or planned to be underway with the corporation. This morning, we're very pleased to have with us from IRCA, Director of Electricity, Jonathan Hudson, and Corporate and Consumer Relations Manager, Juan McCartney. Great to have you with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
Hi. I think, is Juan muted? Yes, Juan, you are muted, so unmute your mics for us, please. All right, so let's get started. With what's happening, there have been concerns, especially with some of the language we saw with the electricity bills that were tabled a few months back about IRCA and its role in what the future would be with BPL and the reforms that are taking place, and whether IRCA would be toothless. Let's talk about that. We know that the language was changed, but now we still have to question whether there is going to be any authority for the regulator in terms of pricing and exactly what the extent is of IRCA's role in all of this. What can you tell us? What is the reality here?
Sure thing, Dwight. Good morning, and thanks for having us. Pleasure to be back on. So before Jonathan or I answer that question or any other questions, I want to say that I'm concerned that in listening to quite a number of conversations on radio and in reading some newspaper articles, there is some confusion about IRCA's role, which I understand. And so I'm here to try to clear up that confusion. So just allow me to say a few things to try to do that. So I'm the Corporate and Consumer Relations Manager for the Utilities Regulation and Competition Authority, otherwise known as IRCA, which is the independent regulator for electronic communications, electricity, and now natural gas for the entire Bahamas. Jonathan is the Director of Utilities and Energy for IRCA. So when I speak, I do not speak for BPL. I do not speak for the Ministry of Energy, and I do not speak for the government of the Bahamas. I speak solely for IRCA. Jonathan speaks for IRCA only. We can speak to what any of those other entities is doing in relation to IRCA. Now, I was on TV and radio for the span of 2 decades, and I hope that the Bahamian people have come to know that when I speak reality and I speak facts. The fact is, Bahamas Power and Light, which is by far the largest public enterprise in this country, is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Bahamas Electricity Corporation, which is owned by the government of the Bahamas, and it is in perilous trouble. It's not in a little bit of trouble. It's not experiencing some hiccups. It's in deep trouble. And to you and to everyone out there, that's not news. However, this particular cocktail of issues that BPL now faces could possibly be the worst it's ever seen. Another fact is that this administration has taken a policy position and accompanied it with legislative action in an effort to remedy what's happening with BPL. And this is also not a new thing. The previous administration took a policy position to deal with what was going on at BPL and accompanied those positions with legislative action, and IRCA complied. The administration before the last administration took policy positions to deal with what was going on with the Bahamas Electricity Corporation, and they did it with legislative action that created BPL and brought electricity under the remit of IRCA in 2015. The administration before that one took a policy position and accompanied it with particular actions to deal with BEC before IRCA even regulated electricity. What IRCA will do is follow those policy and legislative directives by making every effort under its legal remit to make and enforce regulations that bring about affordable, reliable, safe, and sustainable electricity throughout the country to engender the national development of the Bahamas. When I say the Bahamas, Dwight, I mean the entirety of the Bahamas. You and I live in Nassau. Nassau is challenged deeply. And we do look at that at IRCA, and we're concerned about that. But Nassau is also the most developed island in our archipelago. There's an entire nation of islands. Many of them, because of the challenges with electricity, have no chance of economic development and growth. I visited them. I'm not guessing. I'm stating that as a fact. I know we sometimes look at these islands like shapes on a map, and we have some family connections to them. But during the last year and a half, I've traveled all over this country, and I assure you that the people living in these communities are suffering, and some of these communities are in danger of dying, and there's certainly no chance of surviving and growing if there's not a proper electricity framework in place to support development. And ERC is working to help them all. ERC is designed to represent the interests of all stakeholders. That includes consumers, licensees, the government, and everyone else. Jonathan and his team have been working tirelessly for months and are still working around the clock to ensure the development of a proper regulatory framework to give the government's policy the greatest chance of success. And that's what we're going to continue to do. So having established that, Jonathan can now answer your question as to whether ERCA will be toothless due to the new legislation.
Okay, well, thank you for that. Jonathan, again, people have some concerns. What can you tell us?
The short answer to your question is no, ERCA will not be toothless. ERCA's roles, powers, and functions are contained in the newly passed Electricity Act 2024, and that is pretty much consistent with what was in the prior Electricity Act. So the details, should anybody want them, are contained in the legislation, which is available online. So if people want to get into the weeds, they can check that out. It's actually section 13 and 14 of the Act. As Juan pointed out, if you read section 13 in particular, it kind of summarizes that ERCA is the independent regulator, and its primary role is the regulation of the sector in accordance with the goals, objectives, and principles underpinning the national energy and electricity sector policies. And those policies, as Juan pointed out, are the government's policies, and we act within the bounds of the legislation, the statute. What sometimes may cause confusion is the interpretation of the statute, but ERCA has a legal team here, so we ensure that we don't act ultra-virulously, that means outside of the law, in performing those roles, powers, and functions as spelled out in the legislation.
All right, so specifically with pricing and rates, tell us about that. Will the minister need to come to ERCA before there are changes? How is it set up at this time?
You want to deal with that, Mark, or do you want me to deal with
it? Either one.
Okay, so currently, and again, the new Electricity Act is about 80 pages long, but if you go through it, you could begin to understand exactly what the structure is. So if you look at section 38 of the Act, 10, you would see that the minister has, for a period of 3 years, the ability to issue an order to adjust tariff rates for electricity services of any public electricity supplier based on the need for a tariff rate relief for a category of persons as stated in this order. So the minister does not need to consult with ERCA to change these rates for 3 years, but they can consult with ERCA. Now, what has occurred, and I'll be frank about it, is that before all of this occurred, the government brought ERCA in and explained to ERCA what it was trying to accomplish and how it would try to accomplish it, and asked that ERCA work with them to bring about the best possible result. However, like the previous Electricity Act, it was established that BPL would have a time frame where it set its own tariffs in order to try to right-size its operations through those tariff adjustments. And that was a period of 5 years, if I'm not mistaken, and then that was again extended. And this is a different structure of that, but it's the same concept by which the minister is setting the tariff rates to try to allow BPL to right-side itself, and ERCA doesn't have the legal remit to stop her from doing that. All right, after the 3 year period, then all tariff reviews will have to come through ERCA.
And for members of the public who are concerned that during that period that this could be abused, that this could be unfair, what do you say to folks who are concerned?
Mark, you deal with that?
Sure. I mean, I think that is really a question for the government, but I'll refer back to the legislation that the section that Juan was referring to, and the minister's right in relation to section 3810. The last section of it says that the minister acts based on the need for a tariff rate relief for a category of persons as stated in the order. So I think the intent there, if you read it very broadly, and as Juan said, we're not speaking on behalf of the government, just reading the legislation, is it speaks of a rate relief. So the expectation there is it should be to the benefit of individuals. There should be a relief as opposed to a burden.
All right, so tell us more about what IRCA's role will be during this 3-year period. How in regards to the energy sector.
Well, I could give you a broad overview. So what's happened now is IRCA's remit has been expanded to deal with natural gas. What's been going on is that LNG has been used for energy in the Bahamas for several years, and it's not been regulated. It now comes under IRCA's regulatory remit. Not only the use of LNG, but the entire supply chain of LNG, from transport to distribution to use in electricity generation. So that's a major thing that's going to be happening with IRCA. We've got to issue licenses. We've got to make regulations to deal with all of that, and that's going to happen soon. With the electricity sector, when the act was passed in 2015, it created BPL and it allowed for a system operator to manage BPL. What has happened with this new act is, and that was Power Secure, if you would remember correctly, that arrangement no longer exists. What's happened with the new act is it's allowed for a category of system operators to deal with different aspects of the generation, transmission, distribution, and supply of electricity. So you can have a system operator now that specifically deals with generation with regard to public electricity supply or authorized public electricity supply. You can have a system operator that now deals specifically with transmission and distribution, which is what the minister spoke to in the House of Assembly just a couple of days ago. You can have a system operator now that deals with supply, et cetera. We're also going to have to develop a licensing and regulatory framework for how all these arrangements exist and what the specific roles and responsibilities are of each systems operator. And so we're now developing the regulatory framework to deal with all of that to make sure that it runs as smoothly as possible.
What is the timeline like for that? How long would that take?
Mark's dealing with it now. So, Mark?
If you look at the minister's remarks, the public remarks that were made this week, there are various timelines with the work that's being done in the Family Islands with the IPPs, independent power producers in the Family Islands, the work that's being done on solar in New Providence, the work that's being done in New Providence on LNG that Juan spoke about. So those remarks kind of indicate the timelines. There's no one specific date. They are kind of chronological, but the ultimate end date is 2026 in terms of what would be happening in New Providence per the minister's comments. So all those activities that IRCA is doing would be expected to tie into those activities in terms of issuing licenses. Obviously, there'll be consultation periods prior to that, public consultation periods on the types of licenses issued and the regulations and codes and standards for the natural gas sector. All of those will be made public and open to public comment.
Right. You'll probably see it in the next couple of months, Dwight.
Right. Okay. All right. So I got to ask you this. So there's an article in the NASA Guardian today about the minister explaining that the government did not violate the procurement law on BPL, but the minister said she did go to IRCA to inform you of this. So to folks who are thinking that was just a courtesy, that there was nothing that IRCA could do no matter what, is that the reality? Can you tell the minister, no, that's not going to happen, we can't do this, we can't allow this? Explain this scenario, the setup for us, how this really works.
Sure. Go ahead, Mark.
Okay, so you have the legislation, which is the primary document, and then you have regulations that IRCA produces. And the regulations are supported by the legislation. As part of the legislation, entities such as BPL are required to procure things at reasonable costs and procure them efficiently as well. So in that regard, procurement regulations were developed. Those procurement regulations are available on IRCA's website. The regulations do allow for single source procurement, but they specify conditions under which that single source procurement can occur. And as part of that, the licensee, in this case BPL, has to make an application for non-objection for them to pursue with that single source procurement. So BPL did make an application to IRCA. There was some back and forth in terms of requesting additional supporting information, some of which IRCA received. And IRCA gave its non-objection to that single source procurement under the circumstances. And one kind of laid out what some of those circumstances are. One of the conditions that is taken into consideration is the urgency of the matter. And if you, as you are aware, as I'm sure your listening audience is aware because they were affected by it, there has been load shedding in New Providence quite extensively recently, which is an indication that BPL does not have the generation capacity to meet the load. And so that was one of the things that was taken into consideration. What was also spoken about by the minister was that the power purchase agreements are currently being negotiated. So whereas there is an agreement for the single source procurement, the financial aspects of that can still be taken into consideration. So there's a non-objection that BPL can proceed along the lines of negotiating with a single entity, but they are still required to fall within the bounds that the costs have to be reasonably and efficiently incurred.
Okay.
So essentially, yes, they applied to IRCA for the non-objection letter. And one of the main factors in IRCA issuing a non-objection letter was the urgency of the situation. And I don't think you or anyone out there who's experienced what is going on with BPL, just on in Providence, mind you. We could talk about North Andros, where the power plant burned to the ground. We could talk about Bimini, where the same thing happened. We could talk about Acklands and Crooked Island, where they were without power for quite some time. But just in New Providence, you can see that the urgency of the situation warrants some extra consideration. And I do understand that this is an issue that has become political and become very sensitive. But what I want people to understand is that IRCA is an organization that follows the law very carefully, that does not take lightly what is going on with BPL or electricity supply in the country, and is not an instrument of the government, but rather an institution, a corporate body that looks at the entire picture and tries to figure out the path that's the best way forward to implement these policy positions.
Right. Well, I'm sure some are wondering, has there been a situation where you have objected to something the minister has put forward?
I believe the answer would be numerous times, or we would request more information.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, just to clarify, IRCA interacts with its licensees. It just so happens that the government is the primary stakeholder of BPL, and BPL is a licensee of IRCA. IRCA, the government has the right to produce its own legislation, which is brought before Parliament and debated by the representatives for the people. And they have that right. And to their credit, they did involve IRCA as a stakeholder in producing the new legislation, including other stakeholders. And they did take into consideration in many instances in developing the legislation IRCA's opinions on various matters.
All right, so I know we only have you for a few more minutes, but so consumers during this 3-year period, what can they expect from IRCA if they have issues with BPL or Bahamas Grid or whatever entity is going to be providing them with electricity? What do they need to keep in mind, and what can you do for them?
Well, we have every public electricity supplier has to have a consumer protection plan. BPL has one in place. And now we are putting together a framework for where every authorized public electricity supplier is going to have a consumer protection plan in place. And it is also something that we're considering for all the other system operators. So consumer protection is a huge part of what we do. So if you do have issues, you can file a complaint with IRCA, and IRCA seeks to address these issues. I deal with complaints primarily when it comes to the public, and I get them all the time. We get them about BPL, we get them about other people, and we deal with them all as effectively as we can. So you can still come to IRCA, you can still complain to IRCA if you have a genuine issue, and we'll do everything in our power to try to fix that issue for you.
And who would you complain to? Who would it be about if you have an issue going forward here in your Providence? Would it be BPL? Would it be Bahamas Grid? How will that work, or will it depend on the scenario? What is that going to look like?
My understanding of the scenario, and I stand to be corrected, and you could ask the government for more clarity on this, is that BPL will still be the entity that interacts with consumers. So despite who has control of the grid, despite who is running different aspects of generation, you would still be customers of BPL.
Okay.
That is my understanding.
Okay. All right. I'm sure we could talk for a whole lot more, but I know you have to go. But thank you so much for the time this morning, Juan McCartney and Jonathan Hudson. Juan's been calling you Mark. I think I was told before that's what they call you in the office there. But thank you so much for being with us this morning from IRCA. Really appreciate the time this morning.
Thank you, Dwight. Take care.
Take care. Have a good day.
All right. Bye. We're going to take a break and be back with more Morning Blend Business here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Wait, you know what's going down tomorrow?
Nobody, what happening?
Joe bringing the knife to school. He could do Junior in.
For what?
Wait, he fooled with Joe girl.
Mother sick. And you know Junior don't back down for nothing. So that means you got a big fight tomorrow.
So whose side you on?
Side? I trying to stay in school, not Simpson Pen. We gotta tell somebody about this fight.
Tell somebody? I ain't no snitch. I mean cool, you know.
Wait, if you so cool, then you need to stay in school and stay out of the fight.
Yeah, but if I don't hang on Joe's side, him and he boys coming for me next.
All right, so we definitely gotta tell somebody. We gotta prevent the fight.
What I say, I don't want nobody call me snitch.
We could just call Crime Stoppers. You could report what you know, and nobody gotta know it's you.
So how did I boy?
All you gotta do is call them, or you text them through the Crack Crime Bahamas app, and nobody can know it's you.
Then the police come looking for me for more info, and when they finish with them, Joe them coming looking for me?
When you call Crime Stoppers, the call go directly to Miami, and they don't ask nothing about you. Then you can get the pen from them, and they can claim a reward later using that same pen.
Plus, everything's scrambled, so nobody can read what you're saying.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 2477 from the Family Islands.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
All those loans I had were so overwhelming. Fidelity's debt consolidation loan combined all my loan payments into one easy payment with a built-in savings plan that pays me unbeatable interest. It's time to make that move to Fidelity. Call 356-7764.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
It is time for your morning business report brought to you by CFAL. With 80% of the trade potential between the Bahamas and African countries in tourism, there is also potential for an increase in the export of polystyrene to that part of the world. That's according to Executive Director of the International Trade Center, Pamela Koch-Hamilton. She told Guardian Business on the sidelines of the Afro-Caribbean Trade and Investment Forum that while the free trade agreement between the Caribbean and Africa is not a cure-all for this region, it could begin to unlock some of the estimated $1.8 billion in trade that could exist between the two regions. Read more about that in today's Guardian Business section. Koch-Hamilton also telling Guardian Business that the ability to carry out digital money transfers while facilitating trade between African countries and the Caribbean will be critical to the success of the cooperation between the two regions. She said digital transfers are going to be critical, and that's where the world is. She says the whole issue of payment systems is the basis upon which trade is going to happen. Koch-Hamilton credited the Bahamas for its advancements in the digital payment space, calling the Canoe Innovation Hub, which has partnered with ITC for the Trade and Investment Forum, a game changer. Canoe's chairman Nicholas Reese telling Guardian Business last week that the payment platform is already doing work in several African countries and hopes to expand to several more. And a Bahamian logistics company sees a lot of opportunities to expand African and Bahamian trade as he hailed the Afro-Exim Bank for having its 2024 annual meetings at Bahama Resort this week. Gary Howells, CLX Logistics Bahamas Chief Operating Officer, telling Guardian Business that his company is looking for opportunities to network with other regional players who want to bring in supplies from Africa or possibly export to Africa from the Bahamas. You can read more about that in today's Guardian Business section as well. Overseas, the U.S. Supreme Court making it harder for the federal government to win court cases or court orders when it suspects a company of interfering in unionization campaigns in a case that stemmed from a labor dispute with Starbucks. The justices tightened the standards for when a federal court should issue an order to protect the jobs of workers during a union organizing campaign. The court unanimously rejected a rule that some courts had applied to orders sought by the National Labor Relations Board in favor of a higher threshold sought by Starbucks that must be met in most other fights over court orders or injunctions. The Labor Board argued that the National Labor Relations Act, the law that governs the agency, has more than 75 years allowed courts to grant temporary injunctions if they find requests just and proper. The agency said the new law doesn't require it to prove other factors and was intended to limit the role of the courts. And Tesla shareholders voted to restore CEO Elon Musk's record $44.9 billion pay package that was thrown out by a Delaware judge earlier this year, sending a strong vote of confidence in his leadership of the world's largest electric vehicle maker. The favorable vote doesn't necessarily mean that Musk will get the all-stock compensation anytime soon. The package is likely to remain tied up in the Delaware Chancery Court and Supreme Court for months as Tesla tries to overturn the Delaware judge's decision. Musk has raised doubts about his future with Tesla this year, writing on X, the social media platform he owns, that he wanted a 25% stake in the company in order to stop him from taking artificial intelligence development elsewhere. The higher stake controlled the use of AI. Tesla has also struggled with falling sales and profit margins as demand for electric vehicles slows worldwide. But at the company's annual meeting Thursday in Austin, Texas, Musk reassured shareholders that he will stick around, telling them he can't sell any stock in the compensation package for 5 years. The company said late Thursday that shareholders had voted for Musk's compensation plan, which initially was approved by the board and stockholders 6 years ago. Tesla last valued the package at $44.9 billion in an April regulatory filing. It was once as much as $56 billion, but has declined in value in tandem with Tesla's stock, which has dropped about 25% so far this year. And the World Bank has approved a $2.25 billion loan for Nigeria to shore up revenue and support economic reforms that have contributed to the worst cost of living crisis in many years for Africa's most populous country. The bank said in a statement late Thursday that the bulk of the loan, $1.5 billion, will help protect millions who have faced growing poverty since a year ago, when President Bola Tinubu came to power and took drastic steps to fix the country's ailing economy. The remaining $750 million will support tax reforms and revenue and safeguard oil revenues threatened with limited production caused by chronic theft. The president's economic reforms, including ending decades-long but costly fuel subsidies and unifying the multiple exchange rates, have resulted in surging inflation that is at a 28-year high. Under growing pressure from citizens and workers protesting the hardship, Tinubu's government said in May that it was seeking the loan to support its long-term economic plans. The government said it was also taking steps to boost foreign investment inflows, which fell by 26.7% from $5.3 billion in 2022 to $3.9 billion in 2023. Nigeria already has a high debt burden that has limited how much money the government can spend from its earnings. Its reliance on borrowings for public infrastructure and social welfare programs saw public debt surge by nearly 1,000% in the past decade. Closer to home, in your Market Watch, recapping trading on the BISX from Thursday. Your market movers: Consolidated Water down 3 cents, closing at $5.04. Emir Incorporated down 5 cents, closing at $8.23. The BISX All-Share Index closing at 2,938.15, down 0.08. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report. Brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. We'll be back with more Morning Blend Business in just a moment.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit cfal.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
We all know that our country's electricity infrastructure is decades old. It is breaking down, it is too expensive, and it cannot transmit clean energy. Small changes aren't enough. We are taking it all on. Upgrading and modernizing the grid, solar power, major energy reform. That's how we get to lower prices and more reliable electricity. It will not happen overnight, but it will be game-changing.
Go to newenergyera.gov.bs to learn more.
You try to rest, but roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers. For window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it. Just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
We're back here with Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong with you on this Friday, our final few minutes here on the show. All right, we got a lot of your text messages in about what we were talking about with BPL and IRCA as the regulator. Let's see if we can get through some of these and a few of the messages we didn't get to when we were talking about the pools for public schools. Some strong reaction to that. Someone asked me if I was surprised by the reaction. A texter asking that. Yeah, I was a little bit surprised. The people kind of negative. Boy. Anyway, so we'll get to that as well. So with IRCA and BPL, some of these messages here. This person says here, let's just say that this partnership passes the sniff test. What are we not just going straight to solar and not LNG, which is not the energy source of choice in the millennium? Oh, well, they said they're going to have a balance, right? So not just solar. No, not just solely solar. I don't know if anybody has ever recommended that, but LNG as well. Of course, there are many other options, but for now, that's the way forward. So they say. This person says, if this deal with BPL will give the people reliable and affordable energy, I'm all for it. We as a people need to stop playing politics on both sides. BPL is in big trouble, and we as a people can't take too many more increases. I guess they're talking about prices. Is that what you're talking about? Rates? Let's privatize it for 25 years and get BPL running. Well, there's that word there, which is what the government is saying is not the case. Privatize. Nobody wants to say the P word, but I hear you. And I suspect that is what they are banking on, that people will say, I can't take it anymore, and whatever you need to do, just do it. This person says here, well, IRCA just needs to be dismantled. They have no power and are useless to the people, wasting our tax dollars' money. Well, I don't know. That's very extreme. But as you heard, this is the legislation that they're working with. This is their powers are limited by what the people we elect legislate, and that's just how it is. Let's take this call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Well, good morning, Dwight. How you doing?
Doing well. Good morning.
You know, this was a conversation for 1994, and then again in 2014. John Boswick and myself were panelists, and the Chamber of Commerce, they were doing an energy symposium or whatever they call it. And he recommended that we float in 2 LNG barges. I'm sure you remember. They would provide 300 megawatt. That's 600 megawatt, double what we need. It would take a month or 2 to bring it and connect it. It came with fuel, generators, and staff, and it would have lowered our electricity to 12 cents cutting your light in half instantly, basically. And I recommended we put solar on every rooftop to supplement the power during the daytime. Well, we've done nothing with energy security, sustainability, affordability, or reliability. Pretty much the same way we treated the roads. And it's sad, because without energy, Dwight, I wouldn't be talking to you, my phone would be dead, and we wouldn't be listening to you because the transmitter wouldn't have power. See how crucial energy security is? And so I recommend that we sell the company to the people of the company, because they know what to do if you move the people who have the chains on them, if there are chains holding them back, and let them move forward. I told Obi Wilshcombe on his radio show, I said, listen, if we're going to get a package of $70 million, set up a business for the people who work at BPL, who know what's going on. And I'm not just throwing this off the cuff. Yesterday I was talking to some linesmen, okay? So this thing's easy to fix if we remove the fuel factor. And I believe the Honorable Leslie Miller.
Easy.
Remember Leslie Miller with AES? 2008, Dwight?
Yeah, we remember.
Yeah. So we were going to get fuel piped from Bimini, liquid natural gas, I believe it was, and we're going to lower our light bill tremendously. You know, Leslie Miller, history will be kind to him, and it will be kind to Perry Gladstone Christie for making solar duty-free. But you see, we need an energy czar instead of just puppets. I can leave you on that thought. Have a good weekend.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. This texter says here, oh, this is just great. Dwight, that IRCA interview was lame. It didn't answer anything substantial, just more questions now. Do better, Dwight. IRCA interview was expected what they would say. I want my 30 minutes back after hearing this interview. Well, okay. Well, you heard what they said. I don't know what you wanted people to do, waterboard them and force something out of them. The questions need to be asked of the government. Will they talk? They say they will. So we'll see next week. We'll see what happens. But all right. So if you want to continue to add to that, you can continue to text us 422-4796 or call in 323-6232, 325-4316. 325-4259, toll free 242-300-5720. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us 422-4796. All right, so we got a whole lot of questions about, text messages about the pool situation, and again, a very nice story about pools being built for public schools finally, but the reaction was strong and not entirely positive about it. People bring up lots of stuff from the past as well, like these text messages. The South Beach pools are down again. They're such an asset to the surrounding communities. We need to get them functional again. Pools are expensive to maintain. I know I have God help them if the government's responsible for maintaining them. I can see a mosquito breeding pool in 3 years. Dengue reservoir. Well, I don't know if the mosquitoes, it would have to be flat, non-chlorinated water. Okay. Anyway, dengue reservoir. Look at the Betty Kelly Kenning pool. What are you talking about? Falling apart at the seams. It just fixed that. Thousands, if not millions, spent to fix it. What are you talking about? Good idea in theory, bad idea in principle. No, it's not. It's not a bad, but we do have to, you're right about that. We'll have to maintain it. It can't be treated poorly. Absolutely not. This person says here, remember the South Beach pool. It's a great idea, but the upkeep. So we've learned our lesson, right? So we can do it. No? This person says here, which one is this? This is about the pools again. It's not a negative. We ignore all due diligence whenever money is promised, then express surprise years later when the UFOs hit the fan. Ethics rules exist for a reason. There are people the president of the U.S. wouldn't be caught dead in a room with, much less taking pictures, accepting any kind of donations. Well, it depends on the president, I think. You can imagine if... These examples are a bit much, but anyway, and they're going to suggest and imply something. Anyway, it'll never happen. We have completely lost our moral compass, and these people want to brainwash us into believing this is normal. All right, so here, again, is the issue. Nobody else has stepped forward. Why hasn't anybody else stepped forward in all these years? And will anybody else step forward now? Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Dwight. Good morning to the White of Bahamas.
Hi.
Yeah, I see we're still talking about the Davis-Cooper inflation decision. Dwight, the entire deal, I hear about the privatization issue, and I don't know, Rose by any other name is still Rose. But if you look at the possibilities of what is possible, and you consider that over the years that we're signing a 25-year contract, this will cost the Bahamian people probably over that 25 years in the billions of dollars, not just in the plant. But Dwight, imagine that you've locked yourself into a contract to sustain a certain level of payments, et cetera, and as you come in, the need to still have what is called reduction of consumption has to occur regardless. So you now have, say, locked in, let's pretend that you have to pay $2 million, $3 million, $5 million a month of a certain guarantee of performance. And then you have the entire of New Providence and other places begin a reduction of consumption where people reduce their consumption, move towards solarizing their homes, et cetera, and unless the government is going to prevent them from actually entering into producing their own electricity, period. And we cut reduction, say, by 25%, 30%. That means that we must continue paying for the agreement that we have, that we locked in. Then there is no 21st century because we will not attract the type of investment, the type of needed capital, et cetera, for our economy to grow. This, how people say this, I heard some people say this is BTC 2.0. Dwight, this is BTC times 20, not 2.0. And so I think Bahamians should rise up and demand that this be paused and a sensible conversation have concerning embracing the 21st century and doing what is necessary for our children and grandchildren and growing the economy. This is not it. And if it doesn't stop, I think Bahamians should basically consider that there is only the two parties. That is not. There's no option for the PLP in the next election or in the election after until we solve the problem. We consider they should consider them persona non grata for selling the future of our children. This is bad, Dwight. I talked about BTC before. This is bad. I've never seen someone with so much hate and animosity for Bahamians and future Bahamians.
Well, that's a bit much, though. No, I think.
But right, if we actually have a real conversation concerning economic, and I would love to embrace some economists or let the PLP bring the best they have, and let's crunch the numbers. Let's talk about economic growth, and I want someone to explain even a day in the 21st century without the impact of electricity. We already break all of the benchmarks for what it is we have competitive. We talk about, we go all over the world talking about climate change and digital this and digital that. It doesn't exist without energy, and you can't pay 2, 3, 4, 5 times what the world is paying and be competitive. That's a fact.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right. Some more text messages as we get ready to go to the break. What a week. This person says here, it doesn't matter if nobody else shows up, if no one else steps forward. This is back to the pool situation. Should I let my daughter date a pimp if no good man shows up? Oh, my goodness gracious. She really likes him. No. I have no, I can't. I don't know what to, boy. Oh, boy. The Bahamian people got swung again. Cheapest we just shut up and let the government continue running the insanity rampant on the brainwashed fools in the 22nd century slavery. That's okay. Can we please get some cafeterias too, though? My understanding is that the rates would be different for classes of citizens and businesses. Our government is supposed to be fair to all citizens, so how is it that the business community and the middle class people will have to pay higher BPL rates to cover the cost of the low rates they're giving to others below 800 kilowatt hours? We are paying our taxes, but the government is also asking for more taxes to cover their so-called help to our people. Aren't we all? Is our people all citizens? Okay, I guess it's. But I get your point. Interesting question there. And so this is what they're going to drive everybody who hasn't done it yet into trying to reduce the amount of power they get from BPL, and that might be for the best. For the best, whether you want to do it on your own or do a grid tie-in, it might be for the best. Let's take one more call and then we got to go. Good morning, call you on the air.
Hey, Dwight, on the schools, let the politicians mandate the politicians' children must attend government schools in the area in which they live. Watch how quick those schools become nicer than the private schools. You'll have pools, you'll have tennis courts, you'll have saunas, you'll have high-end restaurants.
Equestrian for everyone. Yes.
You mandate that the politicians' children have to go to those schools, not private schools, and to boarding school away. And see how quick it gets fixed. I said that in 2008.
I've been saying that for years as well. Remember
them go there.
We asked a former, thank you, Graham. We've asked a former minister of education that. He gave them a mind-blowing answer. Still, I'll never forget it. But he says they're doing that to free up space and burden on the public sector. Those who can must do their part to allow. Anyway, I can't even continue to